Hello, darlings. I apologize for the silence. Please note that I am reading all of your responses to my videos, and I will do a re-upload of the Solar Stag video since I have been receiving the same feedback with the audio quality. Please be sure to keep it up, as it does help me and it will help me with other projects going forward. I wanted to do a quick video regarding the latest pages. If you have been following them with Home, you will know that the beloved character Kargo was brought back to life. Now, I've known this was going to come back for a while, but seeing again made me livid, especially knowing what is going to happen in the future. No, I won't ruin the public pages, but I will say that if you were going to put Kargo through that, just leave him dead. And then I thought to myself how nonsensical Keek is with trying to handle the concept of death in his comic. Before I address Kargo, I need to go over a writing trick that Terrible Writing Advice stated in one of their segments.
The most important thing to consider about killing off characters is the tone. Specifically, how to completely ignore the tone when it comes to killing off characters. The best approach to all storytelling is to always be tone deaf, and to make sure the tone flails about, much like the central thesis of most of my videos. Tone works best when it constantly upsets audience expectation, much like killing off characters should. I'll know the real reason that authors like me kill off characters: shock value! Yeah, nothing beats the rush of shocking your audience with a sudden character death. The audience will never see it coming, because that would actually require the story to be well built enough to grant context to the events of the plot and actions of the characters. We can't do that because it would rob me of the smug satisfaction of pulling one over on the audience by making character deaths come out of nowhere. You know, like the same place where I pull out my plot twists from. How else can I inflate the story's body count? I guess there's the villain, but he only dies in the series finale, or if he finds redemption. The last thing a villain should want to do is to try to find redemption. If the story ends without the redeemed villain dying, then that is going to make everything, like, really awkward. I guess there's all the villain's minions too, but who cares if they die?
I do recommend any writer of any level take a look at some of his videos, as they are very informative and offer a glimpse of what to look out for in your stories. Take the law of diminishing returns. In the earlier chapters of Home, Keek deliberately made it so that Kargo, Farah, and a few other protagonists killed MT dogs. This established that MT were dangerous and they were not redeemable, since talking to them was out of the question. In fact, the only dog that got an injury while in MT prior to Ranja taking over was Galti, who was injured by Romer, one of the only protagonists that didn't want to take a life. Future Asher here. I did want to say that Fuss and Jonah were also killed, so that makes 2 dogs prior to Renek running off from the MT. Okay, back to the show. As a reader of Home, I was conditioned to believe that all MT dogs, specifically the males, needed to die. Keek's attitude changed when he realized that he liked Renek and Rogio later on. If you notice, after Renek killed Ufer, there were suspiciously no other dogs murdered on MT lands prior to Renek's assault. I do contribute this to poor storyboarding and what lands him into hot water often, a concept called discovery writing. For those that aren't aware of what that is, here's a good definition of it. Discovery writers may also be called pantsters because they write by the seat of their pants. These writers tend to have an idea for a character or situation, so they sit down and start writing. They write to discover what the character has to say or do. They write to discover what would happen given the certain situation. Now, there is a point where you have to ground your story, especially for a comic, since each comic panel costs precious time and effort. It was very clear that the story did have a defined script, but it was dropped because Keek wouldn't allow Rogio to die when he was supposed to. If you're curious, he was supposed to be sacrificed to the ghouls after Renek tied him up, but I digress. So, let's get back to Kargo, who died pitifully when Renek attacked MT in the middle of the night. We have the twink Renek fighting off against 2 experienced dogs, Kargo and Farah. In the hands of another competent writer, Kargo would have grabbed his sword or armor. But what happens instead is Kargo faces off against Rannoch, who is armed with a sword. And despite all of the deaths Kargo is personally responsible for, he suddenly can't fight this bitch. Seriously. He tore out the throats of 2 solar stag merchants, but for some ungodly reason he can't land a killing blow. Hell, even something at to maim Rannoch, and he loses the battle. Let's not forget that Fair is there with him too, but suddenly she becomes a damsel, and of course Kargo has to save her as his last act before he dies. To top off this shit show, Rannoch gets away with no permanent injury, and Kargo doesn't even get a proper eulogy when his body is burned. Keep in mind, Jonah and Foos got a touching send-off before they were burned from Ranja. We're told repeatedly that Romer misses Kargo, but not even he can bother to muster up 2 words to say before his dear friend and ex-lover is burned. So let's flash forward to now, page 693. We have Kargo, who apparently is suffering from the same wounds that he got when Rannoch killed him. How the hell do you bring back someone from death and not heal the wounds? I believe he said that on Patreon, and the fact that Kargo was hacking up blood, that Rannoch stabbed Kargo in his lung. He should be dead again. No healing bark or ointment is going to fix that. I'm thinking that this was purposely done so Kargo couldn't run away or defend himself. While I've been told what happens a little later, it's pretty disgusting to resurrect someone from the dead, only to have him suffer more. At this point, you are torturing your own characters, and it comes off as a fetish. You realize that if you want to draw your kinks, you can draw them separately rather than incorporating them in your comic, right? Considering that Keek does his pornographic pictures, maybe you want to expand that business elsewhere since no one wants to see that level of torture just for shits and giggles. There was honestly no reason to bring Kargo back to this comic, and it's pretty offensive to deal with the topic of death in such an offhanded way. If you kill your character off, especially the petty way that you did Keek, let them stay dead. Everyone voiced their distaste for you killing off Kargo the first time. You were so sure of yourself that the character had found his closure, so what the fuck happened? I honestly think you fell in love with the character again for whatever reason, and wanted to write about him in this shitty fanfiction work. It doesn't work, and any competent writer would have told you to not do anything drastic if you aren't prepared to deal with the aftermath. You treat death like lives on a video game, and how is anyone supposed to take the story seriously if you have no stakes in your comic? Keep in mind, the main characters never suffer any consequences, from an argument to death itself. This is why Keek has unlikable characters in this comic, and why he will continue to fail as a writer. Have some balls when you write stakes, otherwise your story will just be like home. Boring with forgettable characters, minimal characterization, and sloppy world building. Asher out.